Yep, I'm your host, Armani LaDale, and you've got the right number. So go ahead, get comfortable, prop me up, because we're about to get straight to it. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Right Number podcast. I'm your host, Armani LaDale, and on this podcast, we basically just talk about everything involving self-reflection, correction, and just analyzing. I am a little nervous. Y'all, it's been a very, very long time. It's been about 2 weeks since I dropped the episode with the psychology club. And I don't want to just jump into this episode and not address that episode. So that episode was just basically a collab with the psychology club on just adjusting to life. Whichever stage, whatever season you're in, we all have a bit of adjusting to do. The plan was to keep going from there, but life just be life, and y'all. And as y'all can see, I'm in a whole new environment. I am in my apartment, y'all. I remember I told y'all on the last solo pod that I had some news, and the news was just basically me moving officially to Georgia. I have moved to Georgia successfully. I'm still in the process of furnishing my apartment, but it is coming together beautifully. And when I tell you beautifully, it is coming together, y'all. And I'm currently working at Albany State University. That is my alma mater, and I'm an academic advisor. And I'm just excited. I'm very proud and blessed to be in that position because it's going to help me and mold me into the therapist that I want to be eventually. So that's amazing. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just a little nervous. It's my first time back on the pod, and I've been motivated to just keep pushing, keep going. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Keep pushing and keep going. Regardless of everything. Like, I wanted everything to be set up. If I'm being completely transparent, I wanted everything to be just the background to be something. I got an idea I want to do with the background. I didn't know if I wanted to do it in my living room or in my office. I didn't know the vibe, but I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be some new vibes coming to the right number. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be some beautiful, beautiful vibes, and I'm really excited, and I'm excited, y'all. We're going to go ahead and just get into the mental health check. So, mental health check on a scale of 1 to 10. I am a 10. I feel really good. I had an amazing weekend. If y'all follow my personal page, I just went to the botanical garden. I ain't gonna lie, y'all know I'm not too good with my words, but I think that's what it's called. And went to this place called the Select. It was really good. I had a really beautiful experience, and yeah, more information on that soon, hopefully. I am also anticipating this weekend coming up. Y'all, I've been OT, what Drake said. I've been OT a lot lately, and I'm going to New Orleans this weekend for a women's conference, and I am very, 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 very excited. I don't know exactly what to expect. I heard there's going to be a lot of Black business women, entrepreneurs, therapists, doctors, models, photographers. I heard it was going to just be like a mini Essence fair. So I'm really excited for that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do my hair, but I'm really excited for that. And I just ultimately, I feel like I feel a new season approaching, and I cannot thank anybody but God, because lean not on your own understanding. I did not understand then, but right now, everything that has happened, honestly, everything that has transpired from then to now, or just from before I moved to now, is honestly, it all makes sense. And you just gotta look at God like, God, Dad, Father. You really know what you're doing. You really, really know what you're doing, and I am forever grateful. So we're gonna jump right into my recent reflections, y'all. My recent reflections have been just realizing that I haven't really been embracing this new era, this new season. I love to talk about seasons. I have not really been embracing it. I was too busy thinking about how others were living life or are living life, because it was what I expected to be living when I came. If that makes sense. Like, if I'm being completely honest, when I came back down here, I wanted to be, I knew I was going to be coming down here as a professional, right? But I still had friends in college, still had, people I was into, and it was like all of that shifted and changed as soon as I got here. And it was just like, I was stuck. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do what I came down here to think I was going to do. Like, I had a plan in my head, and it was like, nah. I was like, nah. So honestly, I wasn't able to cherish the beauty in my right now, the beauty in my home, the beauty in my career, the beauty in just going back to school, getting my master's, and that being handled because I worked for the school. Like, I wasn't able to see all of those blessings because I was too busy feeling anger or resentment or just bitterness towards those people living those lives that I wanted to live. Or not even resentment, maybe just felt left out or felt like, dang, like, everybody lit, I'm trying to get lit. But I've gained a new appetite, and I just I continuously realize that my new appetite is such a blessing, and it is such a beautiful thing. And I just can't let that comparison of me and somebody else to kind of blind me from the blessings that God has put in my face. Like I said in the other podcast, what do I look like crying about something that is so minuscule compared to this beautiful home I'm in, compared to my new relationship with God? Like, so it's just like perspective. Life is perspective. That kind of helps me jump into the topic that I wanted to get onto for today, which is basically just what to expect post-grad, or what do you do after graduation. A lot of people have been asking me, like, or just telling me I'm doing such a great job, and I really do appreciate that. And sometimes, I don't acknowledge it myself. I still be thinking there's more that I can do, or I'm not doing what I want to do for real. This is not my field. But like I said, if you adjust your perception, I'm going to school to be a marriage and family therapist, and I'm an academic advisor right now. I'm still getting my training in slick. Like, I'm getting my hands on with the students, even though they are my age, a little older. All I'm doing is making schedules, but honestly, I'm taking on whatever they're taking on. I counsel them sometimes. Like, I'm sitting in the office and we're talking about their problems. So kind of ignore what's right in front of me because I see other people doing other things, or I see, how easy it is for this career as opposed to my career. But anyways, the first thing that I would say that you should expect, like, post-grad, I would say just choosing adjustment over anxiety. Do not allow anxiety to plague your mind so much, and just realize you have to adjust. If somebody would just tell me, girl, just adjust. Forget all, what about this, what about that, what about this? Just adjust to where you're at right now and take the next step. Just do that. Like, it's not a situation, it should never be a situation where you are too busy worried about 10 years from now that you don't even know what you're doing tomorrow to get to 10 years from now. So that's just a big thing, just choosing adjustment over anxiety. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. And I know we just had the episode about adjustment, but y'all, it's going to be something I talk about every single day. Just adjust. That's going to be your biggest, like, skill factor for real. This next thing you should be doing, like, before you graduate, I'm not going to lie. But just looking for jobs in your field. I know that I've always had a plan. Like, I've always known, boom, that's the end goal. But for people that aren't like me, just know what you want to do. If you are in college for whatever, like if you're in college for mass comm and you want to be a news reporter, or you want to be a photographer, or you want to be a journalist, look up some jobs already in your field, so that when you get out of college, you already kind of know your area, you know where you want to start looking. But do not become discouraged when you can't find that job immediately after college. I'm going to let y'all know, I did not find, when I got out of college, I'm only a semester out. I'm not even going to lie, I'm not even a full year out. I'm only a semester out. When I first got out of college, I was working at a law firm. I mean, that's cool. Like, that's nice. It wasn't a real law. I won't say it wasn't a real law firm. It was like, I was like the middleman. It was like a call center, and we just make sure the paperwork is right and make sure you're good for your attorney. And then they handle all that stuff. But honestly, it's about who you know. So network while you're in school. Talk to professors. Talk to advisors, talk to anybody you can. Talk to the people on the street. Go to these conferences, go to these leadership meetings, go to these things, because I promise you, you're not gonna find a job. Well, you might find a job on Indeed, but you network, because your first job out of college can be anything. Like, I was a psychology major. I was not trying to be learning about lawsuits, but it was cool. It was a nice experience. It was just a little call center job. I had a cubicle, but it made nice money. And that's honestly them first couple of months outside of college, you're gonna want to stack. Because if you're not going back to grad school, and we'll get to that, if you're not going back to grad school, if you took out student loans, you're gonna have to start paying those off. So you don't want to start paying those off. And then if you're gonna want to eventually move out, you are fortunate enough to have a home to come back to. Like, your parents aren't like ODing or whatever or what have you about you staying home. I recommend going home. There's nothing wrong with going home. Like, I would still be home if I didn't want to come here. Like, but I went home and was able to work, was able to stack to come get my place here. I did that in the summer. So go home, stack your money, and just understand that it's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, but you can get a job pretty much anywhere, I promise you. Start off with something simple. If it's not in your field at that moment, just get that job so you can just have you some income, a constant income, a consistent income, and then still out on the back end, still look up jobs in your field, still see if you need certifications. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the psychology field, you need certifications. If I would have known I could have been a RBT, a registered behavior technician, by the age of 18, I would have been did that. That's a $100 course to be a registered behavior technician. And when I seen that over the summer when I was trying to apply for jobs, I was like, bro, nobody ever told me this. Like, I could have been in the field for real, and I just never knew. And I let it discourage me a little bit, but I had to get my groove back after a talk with my dad and a talk with my friend Jordan. Like, I really had to get my groove back because I really let that shake me. Like, I just felt like I was not ready. But while you're in that meantime, get those certifications, get those CEUs, all that stuff you can add to your resume, and all it does is make it look better on your end. So use that time to build your resume. Now, I already had a pretty good resume before I graduated, but just start building your resume in the meantime, and just look places. Don't be scared to move away from home. I love to tell people, like, move away from home. Get away from the crib, like, for real. And I did that in college, for college. But I suggest moving out of the state. Get new experiences, meet new people, because you're going to have to find a bunch of new friends. Which brings me to my next point. You're going to be in solitude. Now, this may not be for everybody, but for me and some people that I know, upon graduation, I was in solitude for a very long time. Well, the whole summer, pretty much, I was in solitude. I had like a relationship thing going on, and that was like long distance. And then I was like holding on to that so hard because I knew I had to be in solitude for this little month or for this couple of months over the summer. And it just wasn't working. It just added on to the heartbreak, and that added on to the loneliness and all of that once that had to end. But once that completed its course, it was even more tormenting on me because I was just trying to hold on to something, knowing I should have just been in solitude to get myself together. Embrace the solitude. Embrace that. Use that to your advantage, and know that it does not last forever. You're going to have to make new friends. It's like, I like to say this all the time because my dad used to tell me, like, when I was in 8th grade, I was like, big dog. Okay, now you got to go to high school. Now you a freshman again. All right, 12th grade, I'm big dog. Now you got to go to college, you a freshman again. So now, senior year, you was big dog. And now you in the real life, you a freshman again. So look how far you've come from your freshman year to your senior year. Now you're back at freshman year in the real world, in real life, in adulthood. And now you just got to work yourself back up. But don't ever be this. I just really don't want no one to be discouraged, because it can get crazy. It can get just heavy. It can be a lot of things. It can be lonely, it can be hectic, it can be depressing, it can be filled with anger, it can be filled with bitterness, it can be filled with feeling left out. Like, it can be filled with a lot of different things if that's the perception you take. Now, if you are still just, living in your college days, living in your high school days, and you just want to stay in that mindset, I don't recommend it. But if that's what you are and you don't feel any of this, then kudos. But for my people that do, this is for you. Understanding solitude is gonna happen, but it's for your benefit. It's for your personal development, because this is where you're realizing who you really are. And honestly, I forgot what I read, but it's like your frontal cortex is like, it doesn't develop until you're like 25. So you're still really figuring out who you are. And like for me, over the summer, I was going out by myself more. I was talking to God way more. I made new friends. I have a sister now. Like it was it was really good for me, and I did lose a few people in the process, and it really did hurt. I wouldn't say I'm still in, but I'm just getting over it within like probably like it's been a few months now. But um just being able, just understanding and having to rationalize and realize and accept the fact that people have to leave. You're gonna go through these things, but I promise you, for your personal development, it's gonna all be worth it. And it doesn't take away from those relationships and those friendships that you had. They were beautiful experiences. It was what it was, and it was everything. Now you're ready for everything else. So just be okay with moving on. Be okay with that. And because once I was like, okay, taking myself out over the summer, I never really like took myself out. I do like small little dates by myself in college, but like I was with my homies. Like I was with the girls, I was with my homeboys. We was out all the time, and if we wasn't out, okay, I might do a little something by myself, but nothing crazy. And I've done that over the summer, and I've made sure I was intentional, because I had a problem with just like people thinking I was mean, and like my social anxiety led me to be mean or look mean sometimes. And I've been overcoming that. I've overcame that, and I feel like that is something that I really, really can just thank God for, that I've learned within solitude over the summer and while I was here. I'm not even giving nobody the chance to say that I mean. I'm not giving anyone the chance to say that I was stuck up, because I'm not that girl, but like my social anxiety makes me that when I'm by myself. So just learning, I had to learn that about myself. I had to learn to just, you just learn so much being by yourself. So when I say embrace that solitude, embrace it. You're going to have some days where it's like sad and depressing, and it's like, ugh, just deal with it. Just talk to God, ask Him to help you see what it's going to be. The next thing I would say is understand if you're furthering your education. Me personally, I'm furthering my education. I'm not going to lie, I love school. I wasn't like a 4.0 student or anything, but I love to learn. And I really, really love to learn. So I'm definitely going back for my master's, but I have to get the master's to be a counselor anyway, or a therapist anyway. But just understand that, like I said earlier, once you graduate like that next year, you have to start paying your loans back. But let me give y'all some tea. Let me give y'all a little tea. So if you are going into the master's program, and this is just like if you're in the state of Georgia, I'm not sure how any other states work. You would have to look it up or just ask like faculty members or something. But if you work for like the University School of Georgia, they pay for your tuition. So for me, I'm going back to get my clinical mental health master's degree, and I'm kind of caught between crossroads, because I want to get a counseling degree, but I also know I don't want to be technically at Albany State. I want to go somewhere else. I want to go somewhere more hands-on. So honestly, that's like to be announced, because that's its own battle within itself that I'm asking God to help me through currently. But yeah, if you work at the school, they pay for your school. Y'all, don't ever say I ain't with y'all alone. Get y'all a job fresh out of school. And that's what I'm talking about, like networking. One of my old professors, who's now my mentor and my mom, here in Georgia, she literally told me about that. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Listen to me. I would say post-grad, like I said, please start saving, y'all. Please just start saving. I can't even put emphasis on that. Start saving, investing, all of that. And what I was talking about, like staying home, I really want to put emphasis on like bringing it back to like solitude. I was in solitude, but I wasn't like in my apartment in solitude. I was at home in solitude away from friends. So I feel like when you're at home, you kind of have that presence of family still. So you're not completely alone. You may not want to be around them all the time, But like it forced me to build a bond with my family. It forced me to cherish those moments. And it's not, I don't want that to sound like a bad thing, but I didn't have the best relationship with my family because I've been off for 4 years at college. You know what I'm saying? So I come home for holidays, but I needed a better relationship with my family, with my siblings and my mother and my father and my grandmother and my aunts and stuff. So I definitely encourage y'all to just go home and just, if you are in that like solitude area, that's where you really build your bond. Like I feel like y'all know how like your parents and their, I don't know if y'all family is like this, but like some people family, like they have their mom and their grandma, right? And they're like besties. But then you look at you and your mom relationship, it's still giving mother daughter. When did we get to the bestie era? Like when can I get there? And I feel like that's after college, like that first year outside of college. That's then, because like you're an adult, you got to spend time with them. You like, they seeing that, okay, you're grown, you lit, you cool. And you seeing, okay, you grown, you lit, you cool. You're not like my superhero no more. You're more so like you're a human getting through life just like me. So yeah, that's where that trustworthiness come as a human being and not necessarily just a parent. It, you know, like I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but it makes sense to me. And like now I got a bond like this with my dad. And like before we was still cool, we was besties or whatever. But like it's a new level of respect. It's a new level of all of that. And we do still argue. We still get into it, but it's not as severe because we both see each other as equal almost. All right, and now time for segment 4, which is the right advice. So my right advice for you guys would be just focus on your next step. I know it's easier said than done, but I promise you it's more beneficial. Don't worry about what's going to happen in 2 years from now. Don't worry about what happened a month ago. Don't worry about what somebody else's next steps look like. Worry about your next step. What are you going to do tomorrow that's going to benefit your next month? You know, if you're going to be so busy worried on your next month, you need to be worried about your tomorrow just as much. And I feel like we kind of get so caught up in seeing so far away that we can't see what's in front of us. And I feel like being present is like such a tired saying, but it's very important. Stay present. And that way we can cherish the seasons we're in because like I said earlier, I was over here looking at other people's lives, expecting my life to reflect that. But I have already lived that. And I know we always hear, you know, don't compare yourself to others. If God delivered you from this or if God has took you out of that situation, he is bringing you better. But sometimes we don't even see that we're already in the better. Like I have an opportunity now, like it was hard for me to realize it, but like I'm molding leaders now. I'm molding our students at ASU. And I'm too busy looking at them like, that I used to do that. I used to hang with this person. Oh, I used to go to this place. Oh, I used to do this. Or they used to come here and they used to do this. And I used, you know, like, stop being so caught up in that and look where you are now. Like, open your eyes, you poor thing. Look at the blessings. You have graduated college. You are about to graduate college. Let's move on. What is the next step? You should be excited. Don't keep looking in the back like, oh, they still, oh, because I know that'd be me, like, oh, and I still have my fun, but it's also important to find your balance. Like I said, we have a new appetite, like whether that's when you with Christ or just graduating college. I'm an advocate for my Christ followers. I'm not gonna lie, because Christ has definitely changed my appetite well before I graduated, but it's still changing constantly. Like it's constantly changing, and my appetite is different. My tolerance is lower. Not gonna lie. My tolerance for a lot of stuff is lower, but it's like more beautiful. Like my standards have rose. I don't know, but they have definitely gone up, and my tolerance has been low. I no longer carry like so much aggression on me. God just works. So y'all know every part I gotta talk about my Lord and Savior, because he definitely works. And it be stuff that I just be like, it didn't make sense then, and I'm so dramatic, but I see it now. And you have to be able to accept it, and also understanding the fulfillment of time saying. And I feel like When we talk about the fulfillment of time, it's not about just time, like men's time, like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., not that kind of time, but just as far as accomplishing, as far as growth, time as far as our learning, our retention, our behavior, our heart posture. Once we change our intentions, we get changed outcomes. But yeah, y'all, I done forgot how to end the podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I done completely forgot how to end the pod. But I just want to say thank y'all, and hopefully this is. Oh wait, hold on. Pause. Cause this is not gonna come out before. This is gonna come out before my anniversary, but the 2-year anniversary is coming up, y'all. It is on December 9th. We've been intentionally growing for 2 years. I should have opened up with that, first of all. I should have opened up with that, but we have been intentionally growing for 2 years, self-analyzing, reflecting, and correcting. And I just want to thank you guys for being on this journey with me this whole time. Like, I cannot thank you guys anymore. Just letting me be myself on here, letting me help you guys. And I hope that with more time, I can become more transparent. I don't want to just be preaching. I really want to open up and let you guys see me, and this is my safe space. And you guys even allowed me to do this, have my safe space in front of people, and that was terrifying. Not gonna lie, that was terrifying. It was terrifying. But when God calls me to be a leader, when God calls me to speak, I speak, and when He calls me to, I do just that. But yeah, I just want to thank y'all so much for listening. Make sure y'all tune in next Tuesday. Make sure y'all drop y'all mental health checks in the comment section if you're on YouTube. If you are not on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast app, just go right over to the Instagram page and drop your mental health checks under the post. I love y'all. Bye. Wait. One more thing. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Right Number Podcast. Please be sure to follow our Instagram and Twitter at TRNpod and use the hashtag TRNpod whenever you're tuned in. Love y'all. Talk to you later.